Breakfast Call Dialogue, widening your horizons.
Hey, this is Arlene.
Hi, this is Gowri.
And of course, we are continuing our third segment of today on our ABC Dialogue, ASEAN Breakfast Call Dialogue, with someone who is a socialist. He is actually Choo Chun Kai. I hope I pronounced it well. He's a Central Committee member of Parti Socialist Malaysia, or Malaysian Socialist Party. He's going to talk about socialism. Is it really relevant in this 21st century? Welcome to the studio.
Hi everyone.
Oh, you have to speak closer to the
right.
mic. So, let's talk about socialism. And the reason why we are talking about socialism is because you're going to hold a forum end of this week.
Yes.
Perhaps a bit of introduction about Parti Socialist Malaysia and the forum itself.
Okay, right. Okay, PSM is organizing this forum Socialism 2014 this weekend, 21st to 23rd of November, in KL Confucius School. With the theme of World in Turmoil, Imperialism and Resistance into the 21st Century. And actually this is an annual forum organized by PSM since 2005. So this is the 10th edition of this forum. And we were having guests from Indonesia, Philippines, Australia, as well as speakers from Malaysia to discuss about issues which is a burning issue, which is pertinent to the socialists and the left, and of course to the people, like the issues of the rivalry between imperialist powers, the issues of religion, the issues of workers, and so on. So we have there will be this 3 days forum. Actually, we start on Friday evening, and then 2 full days forum on Saturday and Sunday, as well as also we're having film screening in Saturday night, a film called Radical Wollongong.
What is that?
We call it a mass action-packed film. It's a documentary about Wollongong, a city not far from Sydney, which have a radical history of people standing up, fighting against capitalism, fighting for their rights, the women fighting for jobs, and the Aboriginal fighting for their rights, and so on.
Yeah, so just to sum it up, the Socialism Forum that will be held this end of this week will be between 21st to 23rd of November at the KL Confucius School.
Yep.
Where is it exactly? It's
at Lorong Ang Jebat, which very near this Pudu Central bus station. Walking distance from this LRT Pasar Seni and the monorail Mahajalela.
And some of the speakers is mentioned that were non-Malaysians. So are they also part of a party, a socialist party or socialist organization?
Yeah, we have like speakers from Australia. They are with the Socialist Alliance, who are very similar to PSM here in Malaysia. Also a political party fighting against this exploitation of workers, fighting for against this environment destruction and so on.
And the kind of topics that you will be discussing for the whole 3 days will be quite wide in terms of the range.
Yep.
Of course, you will be talking about imperialism, about anarchism, and you will also be talking about specific subjects that even people who are non-socialists would talk about, like environment, like for example climate change, and you also talk about a specific issue that is related to Malaysia, like religion and race.
Yeah.
So from the past socialism forum that PSM used to organize, are you trying to expand more the kind of understanding what socialism is all about?
Yeah, because the PSM, we are fighting for a better future, a better society. So they have to discuss on issues very related to what's going on now in the society. So it's very important for us to understand different issues. And so this forum actually is provide a space for us to discuss, to debate, and to spark ideas that maybe can be useful for us in our future struggle.
And let's talk from the layman's point of view. Have you heard of socialism, Gowri?
Yes, I have.
What is when you think about socialism, what is your first impression?
When I think of socialism, of course, in terms of economy, that's my understanding of it, where the capital, labor, and all is shared among the workers
So
themselves.
it's more of a
and
Marxist sort of understanding of
yeah.
socialism. So, but there are also other understanding of socialism. For example, revolution and struggle, especially within the Latin America, and also their pop culture understanding of socialism, which is just to create a more equal society. But if you want to define as what is socialism is all about to any layman who never heard of that term before, what would that be?
To put it simple, actually, we are striving for a equal society, which everyone be treated equally, and everyone have the equal share of the wealth created by ourselves. Because the current problem of our society is the wealth produced by the actual producer, which is the workers, the laborers, actually exploited by those who own by those who own capital. Yeah, so what this is mainly we are fighting for the equal distribution of our social wealth.
So when you first started to be involved in PSM, how was it? How does PSM function in terms of trying to fight for the workers' right or the employees' rights? Because you did a lot of different protests, and you were representing on behalf of a few sectors of employees or workers.
Actually, you see, PSM actually started by grassroots movements, organizing the plantation communities, the urban pioneers, and workers. Factory workers. Since the early 90s, there are groups of plantation workers fighting for monthly wage, against the evictions after being retrenched, and also have groups working with the urban pioneers facing eviction because of the development of, especially like KL, the Klang Valley. A lot of people evicted in the 90s.
Actually, land grabs is quite a common theme across Southeast Asia, it seems like.
So it started by this group of grassroots organizations fighting for the rights of the downtrodden or the people being oppressed by the system. And then after some time of fighting, we think that it's just not fighting for this, just what you call it's just not an economic issue. It's also political. It's also a political struggle. So we felt that we need a political party which can bring a political perspective in our mainstream politics. Because in Malaysia, I think since the 70s, we have been dominated by the ethnic politics. We have no class perspective, class analysis in our mainstream politics. So,
and it's not even part of our education system when we talk about class. Yeah, it's quite a term that you only hear probably when you are in university or interaction with the PSM. But I want to go back to what you do exactly, because some of your work actually you do fight for the rights of workers, not just in the plantation or in agricultural sectors, but in people working in the office. Like for example, I think there's this one issue of related to the employees of the banks that you were trying to get their voices heard.
No, actually the PSM, actually we have involved in the workers' issues. Actually, like the campaign for the minimum wage since like 2003. We have been like one of the groups they're fighting. And
so you were fighting before even it became a mainstream topic.
And then the government said that is no way for minimum wage, because the capital will run away if they implement the minimum wage. But after 10 years, we have a minimum wage.
So we are ahead of Singapore.
Yeah, but still it's not up to our expectation, and there's still a long way to go.
But when it comes to socialism, what aspect of the socialism that you think is something that people should know more, because this is just based on historical understanding of the socialist movement globally. It hasn't been quite it hasn't been quite positive in terms of in comparison with capitalists, partly because of the Cold War, partly because the current or the past model of socialism or communism has been very state-centric, meaning that it's all about centralization in terms of production, in terms of how workers should be assembled. Do you think, post Cold War and post the 90s, there's a new emergence in terms of a new understanding what socialism is all about?
You see, during the Cold War time, and especially in Malaysia, we are also actually very part of this Cold War because of the British colonial rule, and we have a lot of people have a lot of different kind of misunderstanding about socialism, the idea of socialism, because it's become a taboo. And always related to violence,
revolution,
and also like so-called the Soviet
and centralization of the state, meaning giving the state more power.
Yeah, but actually, the socialist movement, actually since the 19th century, when Marx and Engels first written the Communist Manifesto, actually is a movement of people, working people, the poor, getting together to build a new society. That means it involves a process of participation of people in deciding what our future. So I think after the thing, of course, the last century, there's a lot of things happen, and created the so-called the Soviet model and different things. And there's a lot of problem with Soviet model, of course. But it proved that actually a society can function without capitalism. But of course, the Soviet model, they have lack of democracies, and of course, it's end up with the fall of Berlin Wall and the dissolution of Soviet Union. But it's just only meant that the Soviet model is not working. But the idea of socialism is still there. And people still see after the quarter of century of the end of Cold War, our world is not getting better. But in fact, there's a growing gap between the rich and the poor, and the problems of wars.
But they were, sorry to revert back to the socialist, to the communist era back then. But there were gaps between the elites and the rest of the workers, even within the socialist or communist Soviet at that time, because I give example of North Korea. Maybe it's a bad example, but if you look at in terms of the satellite view of lights, only the center in Pyongyang has lights and the rest are all darkness. And even back then, during when the Berlin Wall is still up, when it comes to the eastern side of Germany, if you are well connected to the Communist Party, you will get access to things like cars and other forms of welfare easier compared to you're just an ordinary citizen. So when it comes to wealth gap or access gap, it is still apparent, even whether it's in a socialist model that we see in the past or the current capitalist model.
Yeah, because this is the existence of the bureaucracies in the systems, which control the powers. But of course, we have to also realize that the problem of the so-called the state run by Communist Party, actually they are not a developed economy like the Western Europe. So yeah. And of course, because of the bureaucracy, then it create the problems of the rulings, elites control some of the wealth. But it's not as massive as what happened in the capitalist world, where actually people have the capital control much of the wealth and create a gap between the have and have-nots.
We will have a short break. When we return, we'll talk more about inequality and all these issues that socialists are interested to talk about.
ASEAN Breakfast Call Dialogue, widening your horizons.
Hi, this is Arlene, and you are listening to Durian ASEAN. We are continuing our next discussion, also related to socialism.
And this is Gowri, and we're still with
Choo, Chon, oh my God, what kind?
Hi.
My Chinese is horrible. I'm so sorry, but yeah, Choo Chon Kai. He is the Central Committee member of Parti Sosialis Malaysia. Off air, we were having a short discussion about the pop culture of socialism, and you coming from the theatre background, Gowri, you have something to say. I know.
That's right. I actually wanted to bring up the book by George Orwell, of course, Animal Farm. It's a very famous book, and it seems that in the book, using the Animal Farm setting, they were trying to go for a socialist kind of community as well. They were trying not to have any leader. There's no one who's going to be on top on the elite group. But eventually that didn't really work out too well. But in reality, is it really possible for people to go for a socialist community without actually having someone like in charge giving orders? Or
No, you see, there's the struggle for socialism to build socialism. It's a process, and of course, the trying to portray by the Animal Farm actually is the reflection of the Soviet model in the 20th centuries, where during the revolutionary process, a small group of people, especially this Napoleon, which is means Stalin in the real sense, is controlling the power and the ordinary people, the common people, have been deprived from their participation in the process. So it created a layer of elites, and then of course at the end the revolution didn't succeed.
Just want to touch on how relevant it is when it comes to socialism in today's century, because as we all know, with several mega trade agreements is undergoing discussion. For example, the TPPA, the RCEP, even if in other continents they also have TPPA with the European countries. And with this, it shows that the world is changing towards a different sort of globalized world. In the past, it's just companies traveling to other countries and doing business, but now they're creating this platform where when it comes to state and the and corporations, they become one. They can travel any way they want, and society becomes the consumer, the global consumer for whatever trades that is being carried on. So my question in this regards is, when it comes to today's century, where it is a different form of capitalist system, it's no longer like the past. How can socialism adapt and try to make itself have more sense to the general society? Because if you do away with global trade, you do away with certain things that the capitalist system is trying to promote. People might not be used to it.
Okay, you see this, in the recent years, all these free trade agreements and the creation of free trade areas actually is opening up the space for the capitalists to invest and to profit in this process, and it will create more problems to the ordinary people, because you are exposed to the attacks of the neoliberal economic agenda, like the pushing down your wage and then cutting the expenditure on the social, cutting the social spending.
But that's part of the process of globalization.
Yeah, and it make the people become vulnerable to this.
So are you criticizing the way the free trades are being handled, or you are completely criticizing the existence of free trade at all?
You see this, okay, we are not against trade. The problem is the so-called free trade now actually is not just about trading, reducing the tariffs, but it's also about the capital. They're demanding their rights. equivalent to a citizen, and then the right to get profit have
And
to be
sue
protected by
governments.
laws. Have to be protected by the law. And actually, it's also rolling back the welfare which enjoy the people in many part of the world. And for the third world country, which is have less social protection, the system of social protection, it will getting much more impact, because the poor were getting poorer because they're getting less protection from the government policy, and the corporate can do whatever they want with all these free trade agreements.
But it's a catch-22 thing, because at the same time, states or countries, they need this foreign direct investment. They need to develop their country, and they don't have enough capital to do it. So if they don't, and they also need to get jobs for their citizens. So if they don't do that, how they are able to prosper in this competitive global society?
You see, there's a myth that what we call this the government in power. They always want the country to have more growth in terms of economy. But the problem is our world today is actually we're not having the problem of growth, of development. We're having a problem of distribution of wealth. Okay. The wealth created by the ordinary people have been concentrated in the hands of the few, those owning capital, and then they keep demanding the government to give them more protection, give them more space for them to gain more profits. And you see this, of course, the states, they cannot stand alone. Some states, because maybe different states, they have different. So some states they have petroleum, some states don't have, and some states have massive land of forests, and some don't have. But how the states coming together, working together, actually is there are different kind of model. Not necessarily you need to create a free trade areas to allow the
what are the other models? I mean, to look forward to the kind of future that probably you envision as a socialist. What kind of model would that be? Because you are not against trade, but you are against free trade, where the rights of
driven by the corporate interest.
The rights of the corporate the corporate is more than the ordinary people or even the state's rights. But if you were to envision a kind of future where society can prosper, and where corporations can be put in a place there they're supposed to be, what would that be?
You see, there's some country in the Latin America, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Cuba, and few others Caribbean countries. They come together to build this ALBA, the alliance of the Latin America. Is a kind of a agreement, also involving trade, but not driven by the corporate interest, but is motivated by the solidarity among the people. The Cuba, they have access of this medical personnel. They send the doctors to serve in the poor area in Ecuador, in Venezuela. Whereas Ecuador and Venezuela, which they're producing a lot of this gas and petroleum, they provide to Cuba in a very cheap price, which is a very lack of this.
But it's also a show that countries like Ecuador and the other countries that you mentioned, they might have just really bad policy. It's not so much about the kind of system that they are adopting, meaning that policy that do not inculcate certain welfare or certain basic needs for its people.
No, before the creation of the ALBA and by this new governments, which came in power just like a decade ago, the economy actually destroyed by the new liberal policies. And it is the people's uprising against the new liberal policy actually put this new government in power. But they have, after they're in power, they realize that the country has been damaged badly by the new liberal policy. They need to rebuild the country, the economy, the society, and they cannot do it alone. Because of the limited resources. But when they're coming together, they're creating this new this ALBA, the regional integration corporations, and it's not driven by the corporate interest. They're just sharing the resources together to develop.
I'm just curious because, okay, let's talk about the Southeast Asian region. Southeast Asian is an emerging market in a way that it needs free trade. It needs companies to come in, and because of that, even countries like Indonesia, Joko Widodo, who is supposed to be pro people, but if you look at what he has done in terms of the economic policy or the economic vision that he has been partnering with China's RCEP, and although he didn't join TPPA, but he's also been trying to create an economic system where it doesn't really rely so much on subsidy. For example, it has reduced the subsidy for fuel in order to expand the revenue for other forms of basic to channel it towards other forms of basic needs or basic development. Do you think that's a right way to do so?
No, you see our ASEANs, the 10 countries, actually is a rich region with resources, with human power, with a lot of human capital, human resources, and natural resources. But the thing is, our governments, most of the governments in the ASEAN countries, we're still thinking of the development, the growth. You only can grow your economy with foreign investment.
But Indonesia has been having slow growth since the past 10 years. I mean, I'm just giving an example of Indonesia, since it's quite a diverse nation. Like, how can it adopt a socialist format for its system when all the people wanted is growth?
You see, the thing is, you don't need to have a socialist party to implement some socialist policy. But you see, the problem is in Southeast Asia. You see where the rich, the capitalists in Malaysia, where they invest in countries which have a low wage. They invest in Cambodia, in Vietnam, so that they can exploit and then get profit out of it.
And now Myanmar.
Yeah, and the thing is, and in our back home in Malaysia, they also keep the wage low, so that the migrant workers from Indonesia work here in the low wage and easily exploited, and the Indonesia remain the poor remain poor there. And if they wanted to invest in Indonesia, they will give all kind of condition. You cannot have unionized workers, all this. So this is very bad. This is the free trade means the free trade agreement means they wanted to push down the wages.
They want to integrate the economy, but they do not want to be responsible of the consequence of.
If you think about this, if ASEAN countries come together, we have agreement that all the country, you need to have the minimum wage to a certain minimum wage to make sure the capital stay there. That means if you invest in the Cambodia, the Malaysian company invest in Cambodia, you have to fulfill that standard. You cannot give the minimum wage in Cambodia lower than the minimum wage in Malaysia, or to the purchasing power. So then you have a decent income for the people. When you have a decent income, that means the people have more purchasing power and to buy the product produced by the capital the capital in this region, and there's a growth. There's a growth in this sense. But the thing is, the logic of the current neoliberal capitalism. They don't think about this. They're seeing that you reduce the wage in order for you to gain more profit. But at the same time, you depriving the ordinary people from getting more purchasing power to buy your products. And the profit that they earn, they not invest in more in social spending or in producing goods for the people. But they invest in financial sector, which is not productive at all, and it create the economic bubble, and when it bursts, then you have this economic crisis. So this is the problem now. The logic,
concerns that you have.
Yeah.
So for people today, when they want to talk about economy in the sense that is about trying to create a more equal distribution of economy, what kind of basic understanding about their rights? I'm talking about in the context of Malaysia that they need to adopt.
Yeah. All right.
Let's say I'm just an ordinary citizen. What should I do, as a Malaysian citizen in this country? At least what kind of right I should be aware of in terms of my economic right in this country? Because when we talk about right, we always talk about Sedition Act, we talk about like political rights. But what about economic rights?
Let me take an example of minimum wage. If we have no minimum wage, okay, now we have a minimum wage, but it's a very low minimum wage, 900 per month. It's very low. And if we have increased the minimum wage to 1,500, for example, that means for the workers, they have more income. You can take care of family. And for small traders, probably we were affected, but it will have the small traders which run a Sunday shop. Actually, your customer, the workers, they can buy more. That means your income is also will increase. So this is very simple. Increasing the minimum wage actually will help your economy.
How would it help with really small startups or people who want to do business, but they want to do business the ethical way? So how would a socialist model would benefit them in a way, because they have to pay more for their workers' wages?
No, you see, there's the problem of the current system is the market is unregulated, and the big capital actually will kill off the small capital and the petty traders, because they have more capital, and then they can push down the prices and kill off the small traders, and then they become monopolize the economy. So for this, if we don't have a policy to restrict the big capital, you have this problem. The small traders having problem to survive, and the workers, the wages also will keep low. But if you have protection for the workers, you have more they have job security and guarantee of a decent income. That means actually you have a guarantee of purchasing power of the people buying stuff from small traders. And also guarantee the income of the small traders. They won't get super rich, but they can survive, and they can develop their business. Not become a big corporation, but at least they have live a better life compared to now have struggling to the survival of the business. And for us, actually, we are saying that the problem with the free market capitalism today is the government hand over everything to the private sectors. They hand over the healthcare, the education to the private sector, because they claim that they provide better compared to the government. And but this is the problem is it will deprive the poor from accessing these basic needs. Okay? You can have market, but we cannot control everything, like the central planning. You have all the barber shop have to nationalize. This is not realistic. Okay, somehow you still need allow them to run in the market, some market mechanism. But in terms of basic commodities, the basic service, you have to.
The way you describe it, are you looking at Scandinavia's model as a kind of model that might be feasible for Southeast Asia?
Yeah, actually, but the thing is, how is the Scandinavian model, the welfare state, come about? Actually, it's come about because of people fighting for the better, therefore strong unionized workers movement, and the capitalists have to make concession to implement this welfare state. But in the context of Southeast Asia, like in Malaysia, for example, we have a very ununionized workers movement. We actually don't have. I'm not sure we have a worker movement or not. It become the capital has more power to suppress.
We have a human resource department in every company.
Yeah.
If actually, I'm just curious to know, because when we talk about the Scandinavia, the first thing that comes to everyone's mind is welfareism. Is welfare really a good thing to a nation? Because their criticism, especially towards Latin America, maybe the way they manage stuff, like for example in Venezuela, they criticize the country because of its extreme welfare policy. It has created this inflation for its economy.
Right. Okay. You see this. How to say this? Okay. Also, one argument against the welfare, the so-called welfarist model, is you create lazy people because they have enjoy welfare not working. But actually, it's not true. You see, the European country, which have this fairly well established welfare states, actually they're more productive than the other countries. Workers working less hours, but actually they produce more because they have more time to rest and they have more time to spend with the family. Actually, there's more motivation for them to work compared to the. So there's a myth that the welfare will create people who lazy and this problem.
Or maybe because they are of a different kind of economy. They don't rely too much on manufacturing, on agriculture, on other areas that when it comes to the third world country, that is their main economic model.
No. You see, when the golden era of this welfare state developed in the European country, they are highly industrialized country. They're only deindustrialized in the last 2 or 3 decades. Where also this when the capital when the fall after the fall of Berlin Wall, the capital in the Western Europe, they invest.
And you can hardly find.
Yeah, and they reduce. They're cutting back. Actually, they're cutting down the social spending, and the welfare state system have been eroded since then.
I mean, you can hardly find assembled goods in first world country. All of the assembling processes is focusing, or all these hardworking sort of processes is focusing more on the third world country. So maybe they are producing more because they are not doing the end labor job. They are doing more of the thinking part.
No, you see. As I said, actually when the peak of the welfare state actually is during the post World War, the first 30 years when there's an economic boom, when there's the still large industries in the European country. Even today, like in Belgium, they still have the steel industry, which is very productive, and the workers earn the wages of the workers there actually is maybe higher than a lawyer in Malaysia. So this and they have high income workers, but they're not. They don't have to be a university graduates or professional, but they have high income. Then also they can spend in the domestic market, and then create the kind of this sustainable economy.
So we are at the end of our show today. Just to recap back, the Socialist Forum will be happening 21st to 23rd of November at KL Confucius School, and you are looking at how many people?
Well, yeah, okay. Anyone interested can come. For the forum, the 2 days forum, actually we have a registration fee for 25 ringgit and 10 ringgit for students or unemployed. Or you can come to negotiate with us. You have really problem paying it, and we have a free screening, and the Friday's opening session also free for people to come. And we have a session discussing on different issues. And
if you want to debate about socialism, is it really relevant in today's century?
Yeah.
Shinka will let you know. Is it really
you're
relevant?
welcome to contribute in the debates.
Okay. Thank you very much.